Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank the chairman and Mr. Speaker, to the lady's point about working together. Democrats did not offer any hand of bipartisanship in this ram and jam job on the $2 trillion bailout bill. They even lost Democrats on it. And so they didn't work with us. It was a pure partisan play. And there's a reason for that. It's mostly unrelated to COVID. It is bailout galore. It is a wish list of the liberals in this House, and they just pushed it through and called it in disguise COVID relief. But the fundamental principle we're talking about today is pay-go. This is a law passed by Democrats, signed by a Democrat president that says, fundamentally, and American people understand this, if you spend beyond your means, you got to find a way to pay for it. You got to offset it, or you go into debt. The American people, if they don't pay their bills, Mr. Speaker, they get their water turned off or their electricity turned off. The IRS will hunt them down, put them in jail if they don't pay their taxes. They'll have their mortgage foreclosed, their cars repossessed. That's what happens to the American people when they don't pay their bills. President Obama, when he signed the law, said you can't spend $1 unless you cut $1 elsewhere. I agree with him. Ms. Pelosi, our speaker, gave a speech, and she gave glowing points as she embraced wholeheartedly and full-throatedly this pay-go. She said, it's important to our fiscal soundness, to our children and grandchildren. She said, who could oppose this great idea? She went on to say, this is investment in our children's future must be paid for, or else we're heaping a debt onto our children. 30 trillion almost and counting. 30 trillion. Who's going to pay for that? Not us, not you, not us. Our kids are going to pay for it. These are Ms. Pelosi's words, Mr. Speaker. This pay-as-you-go is part of a blueprint for fiscal responsibility, subjecting spending to the harshest scrutiny. Every federal dollar that is spent must be subject to scrutiny to make sure taxpayers get their money's worth. Bailing out union pensions, giving city and states money who horribly mismanaged their business prior to COVID, giving people more money to be on unemployment than they made in their previous job, paying people who were not economically harmed in this COVID disaster. All of these things, there is a litany of wasteful, irresponsible, and unnecessary spending. Hundreds of billions of dollars. And she says every dollar is going to be scrutinized, or we're going to stick it to our seniors, we're going to stick it to our kids. That's a profile in courage if I ever saw one. Now that's the leadership that made this country great, Mr. Speaker. These are Ms. Pelosi's words, not mine, but I agree with her. We have an opportunity here to do the right thing by our children, to offset the spending here in this $2 trillion bailout with the wasteful spending that's in there. And I gave you a list, Mr. Speaker. I plead with you and I plead with my colleagues, offset this and do right by our kids and their future in this country. And I yield back.